In today's video, I'm going to be talking you through the 5 least used handbags in my collection. Now, you know that I love a good handbag. I painstakingly, expertly pick which handbags make it into my collection. I usually try and update my entire handbag collection videos. And I thought today I would do a little bit of a spin on that, since I haven't really added any particularly significant new purchases to that collection, right? So I thought I would do something hopefully that is a bit more useful for any of you out there who are considering adding any of these bags into your collection. Also, I have a lot of bags now in my collection which honestly feel like they're just gathering dust, and may as well just bring them out into a video to show you, because at least then I'm using it in that respect. Anyways, I'm gonna get straight into this video with bag number 1, and it always pains me to talk about this particular bag brand because it is my holy grail. It is Chanel. The bag that I'm gonna show you is actually really sentimental to me, and that is the Chanel vintage, I don't know what is the proper name for it, but it's like a crossbody bag, isn't it, in velvet. And this is a very vintage bag, probably about 25 years old, 30 years old, and as you can see, 24 karat gold plating, very, very hard to find. As you can tell by the way that I'm talking about this bag, the reason that I really don't use this bag is because it's so sentimental, it's so old. I don't want to ruin it more than I definitely have already done in my previous years of using it, spilling stuff on it. Thankfully, you cannot tell this bag. It aged beautifully, thankfully for me, because I really didn't take care of this back in the day. And now I have a lot of Chanel bags, which are a lot more durable, a lot newer, and it's just, therefore this bag just doesn't become one that I reach for an awful lot. And also because it really, compared to my other bags, doesn't fit an awful lot. I mean, yes, it can fit an iPhone Pro Max, so the bigger phones, it does just about fit, but you kind of, because of the shape, you can see it's kind of like it's not even a full circle, is it? It's kind of like a heart-shaped bag, so it kind of has to go in a little bit sideways, and then you don't want to bulge out the bag too much because it doesn't really have that much give. And also it's not really got that much storage inside, it's just got one pocket. Very basic bag, and because of that, I bring a lot of stuff most times that needs more compartments, a bit more space. And besides, I'm not even going anywhere these days with COVID times that I would only need to carry a very, very small bag, and maybe that says a little something about my social life and all the occasions that I go to recently. But because I have no evening occasions anymore, because I usually go out to dinner with this bag, it's now just kind of like a Deliveroo situation, which you don't need a bag for that realistically, let's be honest. Next up, bag number 2, and this may come as a little bit of a surprise to many of you because I know so many of you guys out there love this particular bag, and maybe you haven't seen it in a while, but every time it does come up, I get a lot of compliments on it in real life and online as well from you all, and it is this Givenchy Antigona in small. Small. Maybe I should have said small in that inverted commas, because this is not a small bag, is it? Let's be honest. And it's in this beautiful, I don't even know how to describe it, glossy, beige, tan, got a blush pink kind of vibe going on as well. It's a perfect neutral. I love it so much. And got this many, many years ago, back when the Antigona was lit. I think it still kind of is. And they keep bringing out these new soft Antigonas, which, side note, I really don't like. I really don't understand them. Stick with what works, Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. But this is a very, very classic bag, and it still is really classic in Givenchy's line. I think this is probably their best-selling and most well-known bag that they release, and I still do see a lot of people online wearing it, and the price point's really good and all that kind of stuff. But even though I love this bag so much, as is the theme with all of the bags that I'm talking about today, the reason why it's in this video is because of, really, first of all, its size. I mean, we kind of covered it in the intro that I made to this particular bag, but it's a massive one, and also it's quite heavy. And for those of you out there who also have an Antigona, I think you could probably attest to that down below in the comments, but it is a very structured and very well made, high quality bag, and all of the inside details as well. Let me just quickly check I've not got any tat in here. No, we're all good. The lining is really quality. It's thankfully it's fabric, otherwise that would have been really heavy, and there's loads of pockets and everything, but the leather is so rigid and hard. The base is hard. It doesn't scuff or anything, which is the beauty of it. It still looks as good as the day I bought it, which is quite rare for patent bags, because, side note, my Chanel boy bag is a bit of a state. Maybe I'll cover that in another video. But Because of all those quality elements, it's a really heavy and bulky bag, and also because of its rigidity, sometimes it's a bit of a pain to open her up and get your stuff in and out. So for that reason, it's not one that I usually reach for, because if it's that heavy, I may as well go for my other lighter bags, which also fulfill the same purpose. So for example, I would usually, if I'm bringing a lot of stuff, go for the Keepall Bandoulier instead, because it can fit more inside and it's a lot lighter, it's canvas. Or I would just go a little bit smaller, to be honest. There's never really a middle ground where I need to bring quite a bit of stuff, but I'd reach for this, because either I'm bringing a lot, so I just bring a bigger bag, or I could just downsize because I don't need to bring that much tat with me wherever I go. And I'm usually driving places, so it's not like I really need a big bag. I can just put it in the car, for example. So that's where, for example, my YSL Lulu bag will come in really handy for me. And it's obviously a very light bag in comparison to this. So for that reason, it's kind of like the awkward middle child. Not sure when to reach for her, but she's a damn good looking bag, isn't she? And perfect colorway, and really, really classy bag to have in my collection as well. It's just the size and bulk, it's not ideal, but you know, for those of you out there maybe who are a little bit more on the go, maybe you are going into offices very soon, I found that's kind of why I would usually reach for this bag if I'm actually going into the office and, you know, I need notebooks and things like that, and this is the perfect size for that. Maybe then it would become something that is worthwhile to add to your collection, but if those things aren't on your radar, like they're not at the moment for me, you'll probably not see as much wear out of it. At least not in this particular size anyway. I know they make them more mini sizes, which I think are very, very cute and maybe a bit more wearable day to day. But this one, you kind of want to be bringing a lot of stuff, and it's not the most practical thing if you don't want to have that extra bulk on you. So that's why, unfortunately, she doesn't get that much wear, and that's why she's in this video. Okay, so bag number 3 now, and it's by a brand that I'm not entirely sure a lot of you will know that they really produce that many notable bags, because I don't think they really are that notable, to be honest, which is why I guess this particular bag is in this video. And that is a bag from Dolce & Gabbana, and it's this clutch bag. I don't think it's of a significant notoriety to have a proper name attached to it. If you know it, let me know, because I don't know it and I'm the owner of this bag. But yeah, it's a basic clutch in their very iconic kind of, there's like I think it's the Majolica print is their iconic kind of kitchen tile, Sicilian lemon kind of vibe that they have. I have a lot of, if you've seen the videos, I have a lot of dresses in this particular print, and this was actually a gift from my mum, so it's not a bag, if I'm being perfectly honest, that I would have added to my collection myself, and that is also why it's not really been used, because it's not one that I would reach for usually. So, you know, nowadays, especially with COVID and this being a very spring summer looking bag, and it being a clutch but also has the ability to go crossbody, so that's handy, you know, because of the situation we're now in society, because of how loud it is in terms of the print, because it's just not really a bag that I find that practical in terms of its size. It doesn't fit an awful lot. It's basically a wallet on chain, as you can see. And also the fastening's a bit fiddly with this lock mechanism here. But it's not a stationary lock, so it flaps about, which you don't really want to be doing, like flapping in the wind when you're trying to get your stuff in with one hand, maybe, crossbody. Because of all those reasons, it's a bag that I really don't reach for. Maybe it will change if I actually go abroad this year. If I manage to do that, then maybe I will whip this bad boy out, because she does look very nice with all the summer dresses. But because I haven't had any of those occasions, I don't reach for this bag. And you know, I have plenty of crossbody bags which are bigger or better organized in terms of the sectioning, or they're also just a bit more transitional, whereas I feel this is very much spring summer. It's very much holiday vibes. We are now on to bag number 4, and side note, I feel like some sort of dating show host, or like, you know, number 5, come on down. What show is that? Maybe that was like The Price is Right or something like that. Anyway, the next bag I have to show you is this Alexander McQueen clutch, and I think Alexander McQueen clutches in general are just not very practical or usable in real life. So, you know, I don't think this will be much of a surprise to many of you guys out there, especially given, look at it. I mean, it is a weapon as well. I have some funny stories with this bag, which maybe I'll talk about in another video, of how I almost got this confiscated at an airport, which I think actually happens quite a lot with McQueen bags, just purely because of the skull detail and the knuckle duster thing. So that was going to be a very sad moment for me because these aren't exactly cheap. I think this was about just under 1,000, but these usually go for like 2,000 or something. I think they're probably 2,000 these days. But this is a very basic clutch inside. You can tell it doesn't fit much in. In fact, it doesn't fit a phone. Not my size phone anyway. I used to have the smaller phones. I think up until maybe the iPhone XR, you could probably fit that in there, and not much else. Maybe a lippy, some tissues, a wallet, maybe a couple of, or just a card holder instead of a wallet, because that would be too big. And you know, obviously you'd have to be holding it like this, or you know, like this, or like this, because you know, it doesn't have any crossbody straps or anything. Some of them do, but this one doesn't in particular, and it's a very obviously evening clutch. It's not one you use for day to day. It's certainly not one I'll be using anytime soon, because if we're still in this COVID situation, I don't have any events that need this bag. I don't even remember the last time I actually reached for this. I think maybe it was Christmas almost 2 years ago, back when we could still go out. But it's limited in its usage, but when it does get used, it's absolutely stunning. And it's not like I want to get rid of this or anything. I don't think I'll get rid of any of my bags, even though I did mention them in this video. I still do love them, even if they don't get used, and I never buy anything to sell really. So I'll just have to figure out a way to make this work, and hopefully things can go back to normality such that I will be able to whip this out. But until then, she's gathering a bit of dust. So yeah, it's not great, but someone's got to be in this video. So it's you, I'm afraid, darling. Sorry about that. And now we are on to bag number 5. And it's a bag that is so fun and cute. And maybe a few of you guys will have seen it in my bag collection video. Otherwise, I don't think it's a brand that you'll have heard of ever. It is my Marina Hermannseder Hello Kitty backpack. If you guys are Hello Kitty fans, you will absolutely love this just as much as I do. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and it's a bit out of place, shall we say, in my bag collection anyway, because of how colourful it is. I usually go for very plain and boring maybe bags, but this one is very much an exception. I basically got this commissioned from the Marina Hermannseder team, and I worked with them on, you know, making a few bespoke details. They did actually release this particular bag, you know, for general sale, but it was a very short amount of time. I basically missed that window, but I also did a few different details, like the back straps. I made them this pale pink instead of, I think it was going to be this bow pink, which is a bit loud for me, but they made it all, I think, by hand and everything, and the details are really nice, and I love it for that. Because it was custom made for me, and this is basically the only one in existence the way that I commissioned it, with the strap details and everything as well, and these colours. It's not one that I will be able to repurchase, and for that reason, it's just too special to ruin. Because it's just so pale as well on the white. I mean, you may be able to see it. It's basically a magnetic closure, and I feel like I'm giving Hello Kitty a mouth where she shouldn't have, and it's creeping me out a little bit, because obviously you need to do that to do the opening, but your finger has natural oils, or maybe even foundation, or God knows what's on your hands, right? And that can't be helped. But because of that, it's, you know, slightly denting the leather a little bit, so I try and avoid that where I can. It's a bit too big for everyday use. Obviously, it is a backpack by nature. You want to be bringing a lot of stuff, but as you can see, it's not got that much structure. It kind of wants to pit in at the side, and I do stuff this thing, so it's just very soft leather, I think. It's just not really the most practical because of the fastening as well. You'll see me struggling here. You have to really line it up. Most times I actually get someone else to help me close it from the back when it's on my backpack. When it's on my back. So that's a bit annoying, and there are some details which I think are beautiful, but I really can't open this, for example, zip pocket. They've made it so tightly fit that I can't really open the buckles, so I try not to use them. So that means the functionality is limited, and it's a nice piece of handbag eye candy. I always get compliments, usually from children and their parents. It just brings a smile to everybody's face whenever they see it on my back, but it's not the most practical thing. It's very delicate. It was also quite expensive. I think it was almost $1,000 actually. For those reasons, it's not one that I want to really risk bringing out, and it's gonna probably be more of a display piece going forward, I guess, because I have used it quite a bit traveling abroad, and it has got a little bit of discoloration, and I'd prefer to keep it minimal where I can. I'll still enjoy it, but using my eyes. So that is everything that I wanted to cover in today's videos. Those were the 5 least used handbags in my collection. Sob. Obviously, I still love them a lot. They just don't get that much love daily compared to my other bags, but I do try and rotate where I can. And you know, now that I'm acutely aware of how unused these bags are, I will do my utmost best once things return a little bit more to normal, once we get better weather as well, because I think some of these are kind of weather dependent. I will do my utmost best to keep using them and update you on it. If that's what you want to hear, let me know. But I'd be keen to hear actually what your least used bags are in your collection. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in my next one.